Politics is changing fast and every decision shapes our future. In today's video, we're breaking down the latest headlines, the key players, and what it all means for you. Whether you're here to stay informed or spark debate, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. President Donald Trump is considering a proposal to return 20% of savings from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, initiative directly to taxpayers, potentially providing financial relief amid rising inflation. Speaking in Miami Beach, Trump suggested that the savings could be split, with 20% allocated to American citizens, and another 20% used for debt reduction. The proposal gained traction after investor James Fishback advocated for it, prompting Musk to respond on social media that he would consult with the president. While the total savings from DOGE remain uncertain, Musk aims to cut $1 trillion in federal costs annually by shutting down agencies, reducing staff, and eliminating wasteful spending. The initiative has already led to significant reductions, including halting operations at the $50 billion USAID agency, initiating layoffs for most of its 10,000 employees, and dismantling the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Additionally, DOGE has canceled $373 million in Education Department grants for diversity, equity, and inclusion training and eliminated $900 million in grants for academic progress tracking. The Pentagon's discretionary spending is also under review. Fishback estimates that $2 trillion in savings over 2 years could translate to approximately $25,000 per taxpayer, with a 20% dividend equating to around $5,000 per person. Musk, however, clarified that he has not endorsed a specific amount and suggested the benefit might be applied as a tax reduction. Elon Musk revealed that an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump accelerated his decision to endorse him. Speaking in a joint interview with Trump on Fox News, Musk stated that he had planned to support Trump regardless, but the July attack at a Pennsylvania rally served as a precipitating event. During the incident, a gunman opened fire at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, wounding Trump in the ear and killing one attendee. A second assassination attempt occurred 2 months later at Trump's golf club in Florida, though he was unharmed. Over the course of the campaign, Musk emerged as one of Trump's top donors and public advocates. He defended the controversial Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, an initiative aimed at cutting government waste but criticized for its sweeping impact on federal agencies. Musk argued that DOGE was ensuring Trump's executive orders were enforced, framing it as a fight against bureaucratic resistance to the will of the people. In the interview, Musk and Trump dismissed concerns over Musk's business ties to the federal government, despite his ownership of companies with government contracts. Musk stated he would recuse himself from decisions involving potential conflicts of interest, but has not made his ethics agreement public. The White House confirmed Musk serves as a special government employee and senior advisor to Trump. The role of Elon Musk in the Trump administration has sparked controversy, with conflicting narratives emerging from the White House and Musk himself. On social media, Musk portrays himself as a key figure in dismantling federal bureaucracies through the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, canceling taxpayer-funded programs, and reshaping Washington's institutions. However, in court filings and public statements, the White House describes him as merely an advisor with no decision-making authority. A White House official recently testified in response to lawsuits challenging DOGE's actions, asserting that Musk has no direct control over the initiative. This downplaying of Musk's role could serve both legal and political purposes, as concerns grow over his expanding influence. A new poll reveals that 55% of voters believe Musk has accumulated too much power, posing potential risks for the administration. Despite the ambiguity, the uncertainty surrounding Musk's involvement benefits Trump, allowing him to maintain an unpredictable stance while exercising significant executive authority. The lack of clarity regarding DOGE's leadership has further fueled speculation, as the official administrator remains unnamed a month into Trump's second term. Additionally, the agency's role in terminating employees and restructuring federal programs remains undefined. Complicating matters, DOGE operates within the executive office of the president, which includes entities that courts have previously ruled exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Musk, though designated as a Trump advisor, does not formally belong to that structure, adding another layer of opacity to his influence in the administration. The European Union has signaled its willingness to negotiate with the United States over reducing its 10% tariff on cars, aiming to prevent an escalating transatlantic trade conflict. Maroš Šefčovič, a senior EU official, stated that the bloc is open to broader discussions that could encompass technology regulations and defense spending commitments by EU member states. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has frequently criticized the EU's higher tariff on passenger vehicles compared to the United States' 2.5% rate. In response, he has threatened reciprocal tariffs on European goods and additional levies on key industries, including autos, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals. Addressing Trump's concerns, Šefčovič defended the EU's trade policies, arguing that its market remains largely open. He pointed out that both the EU and the US maintain peak tariffs on specific goods, citing America's 25% tariff on pickup trucks as an example that should also be considered in any tariff negotiations. Trump has often highlighted the U.S. trade deficit in goods with the EU, which amounted to $235.6 billion in 2024. However, Šefčovič emphasized that the U.S. maintains a trade surplus in services with Europe. When factoring in both goods and services, the total trade deficit drops to approximately $50 billion. A modest figure relative to the $1.7 trillion in annual trade between the two economies. The EU's willingness to engage in talks marks an attempt to ease tensions and find a balanced trade agreement that benefits both sides. The Trump administration is facing pressure to halt further layoffs at the Federal Aviation Administration, following the dismissal of hundreds of workers over the weekend. The job cuts are part of a broader government restructuring led by Elon Musk, an advisor to President Trump and head of a cost-cutting initiative. Musk's team has overseen widespread layoffs across multiple government agencies, including the Department of Transportation. Despite these cuts, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has requested Musk's assistance in addressing the FAA's outdated air traffic control technology. The layoffs come amid growing concerns about aviation safety, particularly following several fatal plane crashes, including a mid-air collision on January 27 that resulted in 67 deaths. The Department of Transportation stated that hiring and training efforts for air traffic controllers and aviation safety personnel continue. However, union representatives argue that many of the terminated employees held crucial support roles. The Professional Aviation Safety Specialists Union confirmed that approximately 300 of its members were among those dismissed. Following the layoffs, Union President Dave Sparrow and Senator Richard Blumenthal urged the Trump administration to suspend further workforce reductions at the FAA. The termination notices cited performance issues as justification for the job cuts, stating that continued employment was not in the public interest. Adding to industry anxiety, SpaceX employees visited key FAA air traffic facilities in Virginia, raising questions about potential changes to air traffic management. The layoffs and related developments have sparked concerns over the agency's ability to maintain aviation safety and efficiency amid ongoing restructuring efforts. President Donald Trump's policy proposals have sparked concerns at the Federal Reserve regarding potential inflation risks, according to minutes from the Fed's January 28 and 29 meeting. Business leaders have indicated that firms expect to pass along increased costs from proposed import tariffs to consumers, raising inflationary pressures. Fed officials noted that risks to inflation outweighed those to the labor market, citing uncertainties surrounding trade and immigration policies, supply chain disruptions, and stronger-than-expected consumer spending. Although the Fed still anticipates price pressures to ease in the coming months, policymakers acknowledged additional factors that could slow the disinflation process, including tariff-driven cost increases. Financial markets remained stable after the minutes release, with interest rate futures signaling that the Fed's first and possibly only rate cut of 2025 may come in July. U.S. stocks showed minimal fluctuations. Despite inflation stagnating since mid-2024, Fed officials agreed to maintain interest rates until inflation reliably moves toward the central bank's 2% target. The uncertainty surrounding Trump's policies, including proposed 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and stricter border controls, has further contributed to their cautious stance on rate adjustments. In December, Fed staff had already adjusted their economic outlook, predicting slower growth and higher inflation in anticipation of Trump's second-term agenda. In another sign of how fiscal policy may impact central bank decision-making, The minutes indicated that some policymakers believe it may be appropriate to slow or pause the Fed's balance sheet reduction due to debt ceiling dynamics. With current federal funding set to expire on March 14th, lawmakers must act by summer to raise the debt ceiling or risk default. Additionally, Fed officials have initiated a months-long review of their policy framework, considering potential revisions to how they address economic risks when interest rates are near zero. The United States plans to reduce its diplomatic presence in China by up to 10%, according to the South China Morning Post, citing sources familiar with the matter. The downsizing will impact U.S. diplomats and local employees in mainland China and Hong Kong, with notices potentially issued as early as Friday. The cuts will affect the embassy in Beijing and consulates in Guangzhou, Shanghai, Shenyang, Wuhan, and Hong Kong. It remains unclear whether affected staff will be reassigned within the diplomatic service, but layoffs are expected. This move aligns with President Donald Trump's broader effort to restructure the U.S. diplomatic corps and cut government spending, a push he has pursued alongside billionaire ally Elon Musk since taking office on January 20th. Sources say that U.S. embassies worldwide have been asked to prepare for staff reductions as part of this initiative. The U.S. State Department has not commented on the reported cuts. The U.S. maintains a significant diplomatic workforce in China, with its Beijing embassy occupying a 10-acre complex featuring 6 buildings, including an annex completed in 2016. According to the U.S. Embassy and consulates in China, the Beijing facility employs over 1,300 American and local staff. That's it for today's deep dive into the latest political developments. Whether you agree or disagree, the conversation doesn't stop here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you want a different tone, more serious, engaging, or even humorous.